strange, and it was a little strange. I think there's a great appreciation for Nick Ward. I think those guys realize that, you know, the ball goes in there. We missed a lot of open shots in there. I thought we didn't play very good at all the first half. I don't know if we had the jitters, Xavier missing layups, Aaron Henry missing layups. We just had a lot of guys that missed layups, and then that hooking call. I mean, I guess, you know, I don't blame the officials, I blame the coaches, because those things are such momentum changes. They went down a 14-0 run after that. And I'm not saying it was or it wasn't, it's just, you could call that every time. And so I hope that rule gets changed. But at halftime, we just said we got to play better. I mean, I didn't think my best players played very well the first half. And in the second half, they played real well. Kenny, Cassius, Xavier, and McQuaid. And Cassius got kind of worn out at the end, had a couple of turnovers. He only had 2 turnovers the last 4 minutes, and we turned it over 2 or 3 times in. But in general, considering what this team has been through, thought it was a hell of a second half against a very, very tough team for us to play, especially right now. I mean, that is the biggest team. I think the game was won maybe at the start of the second half with Aaron Henry getting 4 rebounds almost in a row. We all rebounded him 45-31. It's more like old Michigan State. We didn't shoot it very well, but a lot of that was due to those layups. And Cassius was great the second half. So.
Tom, I heard 2 questions. First, would you talk about Xavier? You're right, he did miss some early shots, but responded with a double-double. And would you talk about just his resiliency?
Well, Xavier, I never worry about Xavier. I mean, he's one of the toughest guys on my team, and he makes his free throws. He gets 10 rebounds. His defense is unbelievable. He's very good defensively, and he's got to work on his layups. So we'll try to do that at maybe midnight tonight or whenever you're allowed to again.
Second of all, you're a guy who's built this program on respect. Coach Bakil just came in here and called you the best coach in the country. We should about but to get that kind of recognition from a guy you compete against every year.
Well, to be honest with you, I think he's one of the best coaches, and that's not so that we can each heap praise on each other, but he's done a great job with that team. That's a young team. He's got a lot of nice parts, and they play 10 guys. I'm telling you, they're going to beat some people yet. You know, I hope we don't run into them in a tournament, because I think they're pretty good defensively. They're long, they're athletic. They make some shots. They haven't been shooting it great. I don't know what they shot from the 3 tonight, 25%. But early on, they made a couple. Like I said, I thought the game was won because we rebounded. We worked on it. We talked about it. We talked how good they are at it. And I take my hat off to my team in that way, and I give a lot of credit to Steve and his team for how they played.
That sequence that you mentioned with Henry getting the 3 boards, and Coyne's got 1 in there, was that just a result of hunger and aggressiveness that you wanted to see maybe at halftime from these guys?
That was a result of halftime. You know, I'm getting tired of having to be Newt Rockne at halftime, so we got to do a better job. You know, I think we're going to have halftime at the beginning of the game, and then I'll have another halftime at halftime. So that'll be a good thing. But just we you know, and I think we're a little bit disheveled. You know, it looked like everybody was. I said we were going to get them 2 points here, 2 points there, 4 points here, 3 rebounds here, and it looked like everybody wanted to show that they could be the guy. Took a couple bad shots, made a couple bad plays. And I understand that. I mean, you know, made a couple of bad defensive switches because we had a couple guys in there that just never play together. So it's going to be, you know, we're going to have to live with a little bit of that. But second half, we played harder and played through it. And it was a difference, you know. So whatever they thought at halftime, it was better.
Did Kyle Arns aggravate his back?
Yep. I don't know anymore, but yep. Tried to put him back in, couldn't go back in.
Tom, obviously, back to the rebounding again, it's been something that you've been focusing on recently, because it hasn't been what you've wanted in the first half. Probably wasn't still. What was the difference in that second half? Was it simply just going harder or effort? Or was
I really believe it was. I mean, you know, especially the wings. You know, Kenny, that was the worst half of basketball. I mean, he had 2 balls that went right through his hands. You know, and he's been playing really good. So, you know, I think it's funny, you know, everybody wants their chance, but watch what you wish for. And I think our players have a better appreciation for how valuable Nick is, because he's a presence down there. They've got to respect him down there. And so, you know, I think for Xavier and Kenny and, you know, maybe that was a hell of a thing to throw Thomas Kithier in. I mean, that was the biggest group of human beings that I've seen on a court in a while, and he did a pretty good job considering what we threw him into.
Tom, it looked like there were times, especially early, where you guys were really making a concerted effort to get Aaron Henry going and get some shots for him. Was that matchup dependent, or was that just something that you guys wanted to do? Just
no, we wanted to do it because we thought we could get him going that way. You know, he's just gotta learn to get a little going. You know, and I thought that would be the way to do it. So we did run some things for him early, and he missed a couple of great layups. You know, but as I said, I think everybody was excited and everybody was a little nervous. You know, and it's just going to be, we're going to grind. We're going to grind from here on out because we don't have the same types of players that we had, and so we got to figure out different ways to do it. We did some different things in the second half that I thought we executed very well. Ran that backdoor play was big, and just kind of, we're just going to grow with our team right now. You know, we're going to figure out what they can do. We got to be putting them in a position to be successful. You know, with Kyle, I don't know how he'll be now, but hell, if we get one injured a game, maybe we can pick up a couple of you guys for the last game. Who knows?
Tom, Cash has had a little bit of spectacular in this game at times. The one kind of hanging layup and the crossover, big shots at big times, sort of recognizing a moment. And I saw even that he came off in the first half. At one point, you gave him a hug. You and him seem to have a synergy of what he needs to be doing right now.
We do. The problem is, I need him for 40 minutes, and it's not humanly possible. So, but when he's, you know, when he's guarding, and give Steve credit, they put him in that running, they call it runner back and forth, just to wear him down, you know, and we couldn't get him out of that. And I guarantee he's going to sleep good tonight, because he did play better defensively the second half. He did push the ball. We put him in more ball screens. But we got to play better too, and we will play better. I really believe we needed to get some of that out of us. We as a coaching staff have to figure out who we can go to where, try to exploit some things and get some guys baskets that they can make, and not put in people in positions like that one time I put Kyle Owens at the point to do something, and that was completely my fault. And it's only water, cheap suit anyway. It was totally my fault, and that's a case of putting somebody in a position to fail instead of putting someone in a position to be successful. So I will, you know, they made their mistakes, I made my mistakes. We'll all try to regroup and see what we can do this weekend.
Just to follow up on Cash's, with the amount that you went to the ball screen stuff with him, where is he in terms of when you put him in that spot, like realizing that that's kind of the time that he needs to take over? Or is that right? Am I reading that right?
Oh, you read it right on the nail on the head. I told him that at halftime. I said, this is what Player of the Year candidates, this is what All-Americans, this is what you do now, you know? We got to go on your back a little bit here till we get everybody else regrouping. And then when we started to get guys to get to the boards, and we ran a couple things, got a couple of those slips. I mean, we executed some really good things. Some of them were just put on the chalkboard because we had to change as we were going, just because of the personnel we had in there. So I give my players a lot of credit. I gave them a lot of guff tonight. I gave them a lot of credit after the game. That's kind of the way it works. But Cassius was sensational at times, as you said. And he was sensational beat up. I mean, he turned that one ball over late in the game. I said, are you kidding me? I said, are you dead? He said, yes. they said, well, you can be dead in a minute from now, but not till then. And he agreed, and we do have, you know, I think that with all those guys, you know, when you go through stuff, whether it's with Nick, whether it's with Cassius, everybody grows together. And I thought, you know, I feel like he's really starting to understand what he's got to do, and a little more demonstrative on calling a play or the defensive stuff. But man, I mean, I'm asking him to do everything except this press conference right now, and somehow I'm going to convince him that that's a privilege, not a problem.
Tom, the 4 free throws in the first half, how much did you preach to these guys that they had to get inside and create some contact? Because that obviously getting to the air 18 times in the second half, there was a concerted effort from them to do that.
Well, we did, and we started spreading it out a little bit, running some things, but the 20 for 22 from the line, the 45-31 from the rebounding were the two reasons we won. So we did get a little more physical. We did take it in there a little more. Cash took it in there, got beat up a little bit. But it was hard because the first half we were trying to go in there, but their length was so big and so many of them that I don't think we did a great job. But it was, that was probably an interesting time for Xavier. And you know, we were driving with our guards a couple times, and you know, I said, you're driving into 7-footers, you know, the game plan was to come to a jump stop, kick out, because they do a great job of rallying to the ball. But we didn't adjust to all those things, and we're going to have to do a better job as we go. But we have a little time now, we'll work on some things, we'll get a little better, put in a few things, and be ready to go.
Time for a couple more.
Tom, I wanted to ask you about the rotation, or I guess the lack of it in the second half. Is that sort of something that you see going forward, and then does the pace of play, like kind of what is your level of concern moving forward about that?
Full speed ahead, man. We're just going to go for it. You know, we're not going to change anything. When they're tired, they're going to be tired. But there's other people that are playing 38 minutes, 36 minutes. You know, I don't have any excuse. I got to be somewhat appreciative of a guy like Cash is giving me everything he had, and I got to be somewhat demanding that he's got to give me more. Just the way it is. But if I didn't think he could do it, I wouldn't put it on him. I was surprised. I don't know how many minutes Xavier played, but I was really concerned whether he could go from 22 to the 30s. Played 33. Twice he pulled the jersey to come out. Once I agreed, and once I told him to take a hike. You know, he can't take you out right now, my man. So I think we're learning. You know, our staff's got to, you know, continue to do a better job, and we will. But we're going to find a way to get a little more time. We're just down so much. Couldn't take Cassius out, you know, couldn't take McQuaid out as much. But if you look at other teams in our league, you know, Michigan's playing, you know, 7 guys, somebody else is playing, you know, 8 guys. These guys play 10 or 11, so that made it a little more difficult. I mean, for the circumstances, to play that team after losing Nick, that was tough in a way, just because now our semi-weakness was their strength, just in numbers. And so we did okay. Hey, no rebound on 45-31. Damn good job.
Coach, to go back to Xavier, you know, second half offensively a lot stronger. What about his growth this season gives you confidence that he can produce at a high level? Well, I shouldn't say high level, but
Oh, no, at a high level. He can produce at a high level. Xavier Tillman is one of the more interesting guys I've had here. You know, when I think of how he came in, this chubby little roly-poly guy, you know, big chubby little roly-poly guy, but what he's done with his body, what he's done with his brain, I mean, his grades are unbelievable, and that was surprising what he's done with his game. I always tell guys that if, you know, don't be mediocre in anything. If you're going to go for it, go for it. He has done it off the court, he's done it with his body, he's done it in the classroom, and he's done it with his teammates. He's probably as respected of a guy as we have on our team. And, you know, he's gone against Nick every day. That's helped him. And I would like to say, you know, Nick and I gave Langford, all the out-of-bounds plays today, and he had to get everybody down. And Nick actually, it was fun to watch him. They call him Coach Ward now, so he did a lot of good things the last 2 days in practice. This is going to bring our team closer together. Whether we'll have enough, I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm not counting this out.
Last one here with Sean.
I'm sorry, I missed the first couple of minutes, maybe you've been asked this, but did it surprise you at all, the uncertainty? Did you expect it? And was it similar at all to the way you played against Indiana after the Langford news when you guys were in a bit of a fog, really?
You know, I don't know. That's a good question, because I thought the Josh thing, you know, when everybody asked me, was that a problem? And I said, God, he hadn't played in 7 games, but this team is really close. And the finality of that, I think did affect us some, you know. And we really, you know, like I said, I had a meeting the next morning on Nick, and I tried to nip that in the bud. But you get in the game, and I think they had an appreciation what it's like when Nick gets doubled, or when Nick's running down that lane and guards are sagging in a little bit. You know, I think, like I said at halftime, I said, hey, appreciate that guy a little more than you did. And everybody did. Now the problem is I got to tell Nick, you got to make sure that they don't appreciate you for a few days here. You got to just stay on them about what they got to do. We got to get better at some things, but man, there were some big bodies in there. When that ball went in, I think Xavier had some problems in the first half. We talked about using the rim and finishing around, and I thought he did a hell of a job in the second half. Sorry about the cough. All right, gang, thanks.